From Cali to Tally, it's time to wake up. Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source, and this is Wake Up War Chant. Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hudjavandi and Corey Clark.
What you see is what you get now. The kind of style make the whole world go wild. Left a child like a hold his own flesh and bone.
Wake up! What up, everybody? We're here. Corey and I. It's Wake Up War Chant. Follow us on the Twitter machine, Wake Up War Chant, all one word. Follow the family.
How many followers we
War
got on
Chant.
that? I should retweet that a few times. I don't even think I follow it.
Okay, we'll change that.
All right, so you're going to add one follower here in about 5 seconds as you talk.
Actually, I don't think I follow it either. Got to keep up my ratio nice, you know. Right. Follow Wake Up War Chant. Follow War Chant as well. Like us on Facebook. Leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. That'd be super appreciated. That's what it's all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself about. He's Corey Maslow. Thanks for being here. Never in doubt, Corey. 77-68 win for Florida State over Clemson last night. The Noles end their little schneid 3-game skid. Never in doubt, man. Never in doubt.
No, I was never worried. I don't think you were either, even when they were down 8 in the second half to start the second half. Yeah, it was a big win for them. You know, it's late January, but, you know, a loss would have been much more hurtful than a win is positive. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, but you had to have this thing. You couldn't go. What would they have been 1-5 at that point with 4 straight losses? I mean, that would have been. You just can't. So they did what they had to do. You know, I tweeted this out, and it's the truth. Like, so Kofor's not playing right now. He's got a foot injury. Leonard Hamilton said he's day to day, but that means that it still could be a while. They don't know. There's no real prognosis. It's just how he feels and if it heals. But so obviously he's out. And then Forrest and Mann just aren't themselves. I mean, Mann had 9 rebounds and 5 assists or in 9 points, but he's not the explosive Terrence Mann that can drive in off the dribble and beat his zone and raise up over someone. All his shots are kind of fadeaways. He doesn't have that explosiveness. And Forrest
swayaways. They're not even fadeaways. They're like swayaways.
Yeah, you're right. He kind of goes left into the back.
Yeah.
And then Forrest just doesn't have the explosiveness either because of his toe. He's not the dynamic defensive dynamo that's starting things with steals and rebounds and getting and going.
He still made them. I feel like he made them earn getting that ball across the midline.
He did,
a few
but
times,
it's not like he could take over games by scoring 8 points. He could still take over games. He's not that guy right now either. I don't know if he will be that guy by this season. You hope they get 5 days off before they play at Miami on Sunday, so you hope again it's another chance for him to get that thing healed. So they're not the team that we thought they were 6 weeks ago, 2 months ago. They're just not. You know, those are, you would say Kofor, Forrest, and Mann are their 3 best players. Well, one's not playing, and the other 2 aren't themselves. So still to find a way to win. Well, sorry, Cabangeli is now their best player. Sorry.
No,
going into the season, we thought those 3 guys were their best. Cabangeli is their best player. So having him come off the bench and Nichols come off the bench, I mean, that's why they won the game. Those 2 guys are the reason they won that game. And it's nice that you can have that. But there's still some work to be done, obviously. They're not ready to take any bows. Nobody's ever gotten to the ACC tournament with 14 wins. Or 13 wins. I guess they're 14-5 now. 14 wins.
NCAA tournament, you mean, right?
Yeah, sure. So it was a nice win. It was a good win, especially because they were down by 8, and then they ended up going on a run where they got the lead up to 11. So basically a 20-point run difference.
I can't even pinpoint it. Like, what would you pinpoint the turning point or what shifted that game? Just because it feels like it was just a gradual thing. Like Kumaji had a couple early buckets in the second half that kept them around, little things like that.
I think they tightened it up defensively.
Yeah.
I think Clemson scored 41 in the first half and scored 27 in the second half, and 1 was at the end. Some of that was they just missed open shots, but a lot of they were mostly contested. I mean, they played hard on defense, and they didn't foul. At least the refs didn't say they fouled. I mean, Florida State, until there was 4 minutes left, had been called for 2 fouls. Yeah, so they were keeping guys in front of them. They weren't fouling. They weren't turning the ball over, and they knocked down threes. That's the reason they won. But, yeah, there wasn't like Nichols went on that run, and that's why they won. I just think that they did play a lot better defensively, which should be the calling card of this team, and Nichols and Cabangeli kind of took over down the stretch offensively. So good for them. Big dub.
There you go. Use the promo code WARCHANT30 to join the family. Be a member. Warchant.com gets you 30 free days of access. Leave a question on the tribal council if I could speak tonight, this morning. on the Tribal Council. We'll do the Renegade Express tomorrow. Lots of good questions.
By the way,
already.
my ex-wife, who is not a member of War Chant, but Shanna does have a question that she wants answered on the Renegade Express.
All right, well, tell her to use the promo code WarChant30.
Well, she texted me. I feel like she put in a lot of Corey Clark hours in her life.
Okay.
She deserves to have one question, just one.
Sure,
After that, she's joining War Chant, and she's getting on the message board, and she's going to have to ask her questions like everyone else. But I feel like she gets one freebie where she can text me a question, and we'll tackle it.
You know, I know he's struggling, and I don't know if the end is in sight for MJ Walker. But I again, I think that Ham keeps talking about the whole 18 strong thing. They're going to win by committee. I don't know, like if he can just do, little things that just, I don't know if you can build on those. But when it was like getting late in the second half and Flores had gone up and Clemson started trapping them coming out of or they started pressing them coming out of the inbound. There was David Nichols got stuck in no man's land in the corner and it was double team and just threw it up, and then I think MJ just flipped it over his head basically and got it over. I don't know if is that somebody that can they overcome MJ not fulfilling his vast potential?
I don't think for the long haul, especially if they're two veterans with Forrest and Mann aren't healthy. MJ has to play better, and it's not just shooting. Although he made his only 3 in that game, but he so often drives into the lane and gets it swiped away and starts fast breaks for the other team going the other way. He's got to be better with the ball. That said, the second half he didn't play much because he got that charge and then sat out for the next 12 minutes, which actually ended up being a good thing for Florida State because it got Nichols in the game quicker. Walker did make a really nice pass to Cabangeli that was almost an and-one. He got fouled. He raised up for a jump shot and then hit a cutting Cabangeli. It's those kind of little things. He had a chase down block at the end. The game was out of reach, but still he showed some fire and some grit by doing that, even though the game was out of reach, to chase down that block and
he's not lost. He's staying in the fight, which I think is it's encouraging.
But he's got to come out of it. He can't be a guy that averages. Florida State doesn't get McDonald's All-Americans, man. They don't fall off trees and land here very much. They've had maybe 5 since I've been covering the team. 4 or 5.
Wafers, the only guy I can remember. Right?
Well, Singleton was one, Snare was one, but they're not many.
Yeah.
And so this guy's got potential. He's a really good athlete. He can shoot theoretically. I've watched him make a lot of shots. He's got to play with a little more confidence, and he's got to be more of a factor because Nichols isn't going to do that every night. You're going to need that guy. That guy should be your second leading scorer, quite frankly. By the way, Shanna also did say that I say quite frankly way too much, like an inordinate amount.
No.
And I almost texted her and was like, "You're crazy. Don't text me again. Lose this number." Quite frankly, lose this number. But then I just said it. I just heard myself say it, so she might be right.
You're fine, man. Better than the crutches that I lean on, brother.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. So, yeah, it would be nice if MJ Walker and PJ Savoy would get going. And I thought it was good that PJ hit a 3. He hit the first shot of the game, which was a 3, that it's like that opened the floodgates. Even though he didn't hit another one, the team did. That's kind of impressive that 7 different guys hit a 3.
Yeah, they shot.
Nichols hit 4, and then 6 other guys hit 1 each.
They shot 45% from 3 and 81% from the stripe.
Yeah, that's big time, man. That's how you win games. And
the funny thing is, we interviewed Cabangeli up at the podium where Ham usually has his post game, and Ham left his notes up there. And when we got done talking to Fiondu starts looking at it. He's like, "How did I do, man? I made all my free throws. All right, cool."
Yeah, there you go. They were big free throws too. Yeah. They were late in the game when it was like a 3-point lead.
Oh, I think I've said it many times, but they're this is a really fun team to cover. They're really good. I don't want to say good kids because again we don't really, but they're very just candid and thoughtful.
Yeah, Forrest is a nice kid. Terrence Mann, Cabangeli's a super nice kid off the court. That guy, I told you during the game, he's getting to a point where you might legitimately wonder, okay, can you count on him being back next year? There's some stuff to his game, and it's not just the points. And I think he's leading them in scoring, but he's probably 6th in minutes. So he's a guy that
trying to sabotage him.
Maybe do something, cut off a toe or something, the pinky toe, one you don't need, just something he can't get ready for the combine. But that guy, the way his body moves, and you see it when you're up close, he's really quick for a guy that's 6'10 or 6'11 and keeps growing. And he's obviously got a really nice touch from the. I mean, he's had games this year from the free throw line where he was like 10 of 10, and you see him when he shoots from three. His shot from three looks as good as anybody on the teams. He's just got a lot to him, man, and he's a really competitive kid. Again, they don't start him because they really do worry about the foul trouble. Like, they don't want him to pick up 2 fouls in the first 90 seconds, and then he's a non-factor until the second half because Ham's never going to play him with 2 fouls. That's something that if he could just clean that up a little bit, man, he's an all-ACC type player, man. He is ridiculously talented.
He said as much because Ham, joked about the fact he's like Kabengele must have set a record with his fouls. I mean,
that's a record of some sort. 2 fouls. Yeah,
2. He usually gets 2 in the first 10 seconds. I asked Kabengele that after the game, just how much does that help him out? He admits he's like, I'm a rhythm guy. He's like, I need to be in rhythm, and the fact I'm able to be out there for long stretches against Clemson, in the game Tuesday night, he said that just helped him kind of find his groove. And as long as he does admit, obviously he tries to play as hard as he can. That does get him in foul trouble. But when he does,
and he crashes the boards when he's not shooting the fadeaways. He's the guy that goes and gets offensive rebounds. Him and Terrence Mann.
How'd Brady do the other night in his game?
6 points.
Okay.
Not terrible. Had a few turnovers apparently. I didn't get to watch, but 6 points. And he told me he had 6 points, 2 assists, and 7 rebounds. There's no way he's really keeping track of his assists and rebounds.
The stat sheet, man.
Yeah, that's what he does. He's like a Terrence Mann or a Trent Forrest. He's not going to score 30, but he'll give you something in every little category. Probably had a couple steals too. But what's cool? Nobody cares about this, but they're probably the smallest team in the league, in his league, and they just won like they're the number 1 seed. They won the regular season, so that's cool.
Heck yeah,
that's good. They're all the same size. They're all Brady's size, and he's not short, but he's not tall. Some of these kids, you wouldn't believe it. These 10-year-old teams, they'll have a guy that's your size.
Right.
This 10-year-old monster that's just throwing it off the backboard to himself. He gets 9 rebounds on 1 possession, and all these other kids are just climbing on his back. Brady his team doesn't have that. They actually have to pass and make shots and play and hustle. So it was good. I really thought they were going to. When I saw them play their first game, it's a lesson to everybody listening. So they lost their Jamboree game 22-6. I mean, they were terrible. And I'd watched them practice a couple times. I'm like, man, they're not going to win a game, and they're going to have a hard time getting to double digits because they have one good player, and every time everybody's just going to focus on him, and these other kids, including my son, can't play well enough to offset it. But no, they grew as a team, much like the Seminoles of last year. Mm-hmm. They got better at the end of the season, and now they're whatever they are, 10-2 or something, but the number 1 team in the league.
I should come up for a weekend and just film him, make like a one mixtape of him.
That would be awesome. Yeah. When he comes down here for spring break, we'll go to a blacktop court, and you can do that. That would be really funny.
Raindrops.
Yeah.
Let's talk about something football related, even though it's really much of a stretch. Florida State is.
Did they hire anybody else yet?
They have not.
Oh, all right. That's a dagger.
And I think maybe I will. My task.
At what point do we just say, okay, Greg Fry's the offensive line coach?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he hasn't lost that title. He's
and
still
there
here.
will be no DB coach. When do we start making these just declarative statements that, okay, it's not happening? We are almost at signing day.
My theory kind of has been that there has to be something with Houston contract related, like financially. It's either it's going to, if they wanted to get Clements in December, it's going to cost them too much. But I don't know how long you can wait it out to try to get a lesser buyout for him. Because listen, if Houston doesn't fire him, Florida State's got to pay full freight, I think, to get him. If he leaves on his own accord, I think him and Briles both signed extensions in early December or late November.
Oh, right.
They signed extension. I think they had some sort of penalty clause in there if they were both to leave. So I don't know how much of this is Florida State waiting out the clock. They're recruiting okay. It seems like Michael Langston. I think we'll have a recruiting chat later tonight, and he'll update us on the offensive line class, but. As much of the struggles they had last year, we talked about, it was just cohesion, and they're going to have to bring in new coaches this year. I mean, David Kelly's probably not going to be an on-field coach this year, it seems like. So, get everybody in here, man. Let's all go to, let's go to the Res one weekend and hang out and just raft and, drink lemonade and make sandwiches and stuff and just talk, coaches. The staff's got to get together. You're
talking about a staff picnic or
a retreat? They got to coalesce.
A retreat for a weekend? Or just for a day?
Do a ropes course, a trust fall.
Oh, there you go. Now we're talking.
Things like that. So, yeah,
maybe a pillow fight at night in the cabin. I was thinking of something else.
Maybe it's a game of spades. Like, kind of get a little heated.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, they come to blows over
throw
spades.
The last card down, bang. But let's panic because Deon Sun committed to South Carolina.
What does Deon Sun play?
Defensive back. Come on, man.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know if he was
business.
a receiver or a quarterback.
Family business. Well, actually, I think of the two Suns, this one is is not as coveted of a prospect, and I don't even know if he has an offer from Florida State. So it's I'm being very facetious right now, people. I know there might be the certain fans like, I can't believe Deon Sun's not even coming here. But you'd figure with the dynamic that Deon and Willie have that he would be like, man, just take my kid.
I saw on Twitter last night, or as we tape this tonight, but Tuesday night I saw Deon tweet something where he was in a living room with David Kelly and Willie Taggart saying, believe in this guy. I promise you he's going to get Florida State back to the promised land.
Well, probably because his son committed to South Carolina. He just wants to let people know, hey, that's not an indictment on
probably, right? So I think that's got to be what it is. So I don't think there's any ill will or they just maybe his kid did. I mean, if you're Deon's kid, do you want to go to Florida State?
If you're Dalvin Cook's brother, do you want to go to Florida State?
No, apparently not.
Did he even play for Georgia this past year?
Come on, buddy, yeah. I think he played he got the 5th carry of the season. Now, he didn't play much as the season went on. They rode Holyfield and Swift, but he's going to be playing next year because Holyfield bounced. Yeah.
But no, his other
Holyfield needs money.
Poor guy. His other son, Shadur, who's a quarterback. That's the Sanders that you want to add to the lineage.
Which Sanders was this?
This is Shiloh.
Shiloh. All right.
Shiloh and Shador. I'm trying to find his offer list, but I'm pretty sure that it's not. I mean, it's a headline on ESPN.com. It's the 4th thing down there. Committed to South Carolina with offers from, if I was going to find it, Tennessee, Nebraska, Colorado State.
He might have told him right away, I don't want to go to Tallahassee.
Yeah, could be that. So, relax, everybody, if your rival friends are needling you about even Deon Sun doesn't want to go play for Willie. That's not the case.
And also think that if even if Willie wasn't sure he was Florida State caliber, which what does that even mean anymore? But even if he thought he wasn't quite the guy that he was looking for, if he's good enough to get recruited and signed with South Carolina, I wouldn't hesitate to say that he's probably good enough to play at Florida State. And even just the PR, from a PR standpoint and from a goodwill standpoint, you would offer the kid if he wanted to come.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you think?
Yeah, it's happened once or twice around these parts.
In fact, Florida State, I think they ended up offering Devin Bush. I had Devin Bush on a podcast of mine a couple years ago.
Tuesdays with Corey. That was a great thing.
And I talked with him for an hour, and at the end he talked about how Florida State, his kid was only a junior at the time, but he's like, Florida State hasn't offered him. And you could tell it really ticked him off that Florida State finally did offer him, but by that time it was too late. And that was another one where you would have been like, and Devin Bush's kid was a really good linebacker that's going to be drafted.
First round,
Florida State could have used him, and they got on him too late. They did not evaluate his skills correctly, apparently, or early enough. And by that time, plus, I guess they did put Devin on the staff. Yeah. That helped.
I saw somebody start a thread on the Tribal Council it said rank our coaches. And I was like, I like that. That's a good exercise. But it ranked
for football or for the whole
for football. For football.
Oh, all right.
But what it ended up being was you ranked our staff 1 to 10. I was like, rank them in terms of where they are in the nation.
Oh,
that's what I would like to see.
Okay.
How many guys do you think would be top 10? Brow's a top 10, right?
I don't know. We'll see.
Odell's got to be top 10?
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Odell's had a lot of good defensive tackles to work with, too. But he certainly
– he brings them in.
He certainly does a good job with them, and he does a good job of evaluating and getting them here. But, yeah.
Can you think anyone who came here – maybe Jacoby McDaniel, but I think he had injury concerns. No one ever came here that had really high ceiling, high potential defensive tackle, and Odell dropped the ball on them.
There might be one or two. I can't remember them. And, even Jacoby McDaniel, he was a 5-star guy that battled injuries and never got quite big enough. By the way, have you seen him lately? He looks like a shooting guard.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I've seen a couple of his pictures on social media, and the guy looks like it looks like somebody just put a pin in him.
To save the sport, I hope they at some point do weight limit. I don't think I'll be alive for it, but it should be interesting to see offensive linemen max out at 230.
In NFL
football.
and college football?
Yeah. Because just be natural. I'm not saying they're taking supplements. Some of them are. But, so you don't have to eat like an absolute lunatic. Everybody you see.
Also think in the NBA, you shouldn't be able to have a vertical jump of over 28 inches.
So what? Like you think that the game is better with 345-pound offensive line? Like
no, I just think with those
worse?
people, like some of those guys, that's their weight. That's what they move like, and they can move. Like the dude, the guard that the Colts drafted, the dude from Notre Dame.
Oh, Quentin Nelson.
Holy moly, that guy is a battering ram. Well, so he wouldn't be allowed to play football.
Well, maybe you get like an exception. Maybe you get two guys that can.
You know what? Like in Japanese baseball, you're only allowed to have 2 Americans or like 3 Americans on your
like
team.
CFL football.
Is that true too?
Yeah, you can only have
I
a
didn't
certain
know
amount
that.
of international players.
So yeah, as a football team, you only get 3 guys over 300 pounds.
Yeah.
Well, it would make the game a lot more spread out, and also think pass interference should be reviewed. By the way, did you see that they were talking about doing that?
Filing a lawsuit?
No, well, no. That the NFL is going to have talks about making pass interference calls reviewable.
Oh, geez.
That would be a nightmare, because every single time a ball is thrown to a receiver and a quarterback's near him, I mean they're grabbing a little bit, and there's already way too many. What they should do in the NFL is quit making it a spot foul.
Yes.
That's ridiculous.
It is.
Just make it a 15-yard penalty and quit being dumb.
Could you imagine what would have happened if they didn't whistle the pass interference on Rashad in the BCS championship game? Just the absolute madness that would have ensued from the fan base.
And didn't the guy say it was I think it might have been the guy that scored in the kick six that interfered with him.
Yeah.
That was like, that's a terrible call. There's no way that's interference. He said that after the game. He's like, look, because he also got beat for the touchdown. He's like, look, that's just a great play.
He's hanging on my wall.
But he's
thanks, buddy. Love it. Really good.
But he's like, no, man, that's just great defense. It's like, dude, you grabbed him by the shoulder and spun him around. If that doesn't get called. Or what you really would make you wonder is there was a play, it might have been the play right before that, where his pass gets deflected up in the air. And if it's up in the air if it goes up in the air probably 2 feet further or a foot further, Auburn probably intercepts it and the game's over. Inside like the 10 or 12-yard line. It was the one bad play they had other than delay a game in that little stretch. But yeah, that was a huge, maybe you'd say the biggest pass interference in Florida State history and Auburn history.
Yeah, you could say that. Hey, that was good, man. It really forced the issue. Try to get some sort of football in the program. I feel like we somewhat organically did so. We're done for the day.
Who you got in the Super Bowl? We got time. You know what? We got time.
Yeah, we got plenty of time. I don't want to see I don't want to see the Patriots win. But if I had to bet on it,
of course, it's crazy the Patriots were underdogs against the Chiefs, and I know that if Dum Dum isn't offsides.
And the guy got fired. The DC got fired because the guy.
Did he really?
Yeah, he didn't pay attention in kindergarten about coloring inside the lines.
Or just looking down the line and, hey, am I on the ball? That was a bit of a bummer, but yeah. So now they're going to win. They've been to the Super Bowl 9 times. I mean, that's nuts. 11 times as a franchise, 9 times with those 2 guys. That's crazy. Crazy. AFC needs to get its act together, man. The AFC East is a joke. Yeah. Every year the Patriots start off 5-1 because those 3 franchises can't do jack squat. How were you so bad for a decade and a half? Dolphins fans. I know we got Dolphins fans.
Oh, yeah.
What in the world? And I'm an Atlanta sports fan. I'm a Falcons fan. And I can talk smack to you because your franchise has been irrelevant and a joke for 3 decades. When you had the Marx brothers back in the mid-'80s, back when Miami Vice was popular. And Bobby Bowden was coaching Florida State making $95,000 a year. That's the last time the Dolphins were a big-time pro football. And the Jets, the Jets, have they been in a Super Bowl in my lifetime? No. The Bills had that run in the early 90s and then fell off the face of the earth to never be heard from again. It's just crazy that the Patriots – and I know, part of the reason they're bad –
the Jets got Adam Gase. They'll be all right now.
Right, yeah. I mean, didn't he coach at the Dolphins?
Yeah.
So you hire a fired coach. It's like I think Bob Kraft is paying all these franchises off. It's the only thing that makes sense. How do you hire a guy that just got fired from one of your rivals because he didn't do well? It's not like he was fired because they won too many games. So, yeah, the Patriots start every year 5-1, which is why they always have a high seed in the playoffs. And at most, they have to win 1 road playoff game. Usually, they get it all at home because they start off 5-1 every year. And also, Brady and Belichick are awesome. I'm just saying it would be nice if they had some sort of competition in their division. Meanwhile, the Falcons, you got to go through Drew Brees every year. He's going to play until he's 70. Yeah. Cam Newton, the Panthers are sometimes good. They're never terrible.
Right.
And then the Bucs, the Bucs are the Bucs, but they might end up being good at some point.
I like Bruce Arians.
I think that's a good hire, and I think he'll do well with Jameis. They need to get – what they should do is get Antonio Brown. I'd like the Falcons to get Antonio Brown.
I think everybody would like to get Antonio.
So then you'd have Julio, Antonio Brown,
Calvin Ridley.
Calvin Ridley is your third guy. You can work with that, right?
That's all right.
All right, just saying. Anyway, good luck, AFC East.
Leave the questions on the Tribal Council. Use the promo code WARCHANT30 to join the family if you're not part of WarChant.com. We'll do the Renegade Express tomorrow. Have a great one, folks. Talk to you then.
WarChant.com is the ultimate inside source for FSU football and recruiting. And now you can get in on the action for free for an entire month. WarChant.com is offering a risk-free 30-day trial subscription. Get full access to the #1 website covering the Seminoles just by entering the promo code WARCHANT30. That's WARCHANT30. Sign up and get in on the world's most active FSU message boards. Receive breaking news, stories from our award-winning staff, plus get exclusive interviews and videos. Just enter the promo code WARCHANT30. WarChant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source.